first we're gonna make love.
A man who lies cannot love.
Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's relationship has been a model of longevity in Hollywood, having lasted more than 40 years. Despite never formally marrying, their bond is widely seen as one of the strongest in the industry. They've weathered the ups and downs of fame, raising a family together and building a life that many would envy. However, recently, Goldie Hawn dropped a bombshell that has everyone talking. She admitted to having an affair. This revelation is so unexpected and explosive, it threatens to overshadow their decades of commitment. So, who was the person involved in this affair? And why has Goldie decided to open up about it now, after so many years of secrecy? Join us as we unpack all the messy details behind this shocking confession and explore what this means for her future with Kurt Russell. Making it to the big screen. Goldie Hawn's story didn't begin with red carpets and film premieres. Born in Washington, D.C., to Laura and Edward Hawn, she grew up surrounded by music and dance. Her father was a Presbyterian musician and conductor with English and German roots, while her mother, a Jewish immigrant from Hungary, owned a dance school and jewelry shop. Raised in Tacoma Park, Maryland, Goldie was immersed in the arts from a young age, attending Montgomery Blair High School and studying ballet and tap dance by the age of 3. Her passion for dance wasn't just a childhood phase, it was her gateway into the entertainment world. By 1955, she was performing in the Nutcracker with the ballet's Ruse de Monte Carlo. Just a few years later, she made her stage debut playing Juliet in a production of Romeo and Juliet at the Virginia Shakespeare Festival. This early exposure to the stage laid the foundation for the bold, expressive performer the world would come to know. In 1964, Hawn made a life-altering decision to leave American University, where she was studying drama, and focus on her dreams. She ran and taught at a ballet school before taking the leap into professional dancing. Her debut came with a performance of Can-Can at the New York World's Fair, and soon after, she became a go-go dancer in New York City and New Jersey. These early years were anything but glamorous, but they were critical in shaping her eventual rise to fame. From a shy Maryland girl to a captivating performer, Goldie Hawn's journey through dance and drama was only just beginning. Little did the world know she was on the verge of transforming from an anonymous dancer to a star. Goldie Hawn's big break came when she moved to California in the 1960s. She danced in shows like Pal Joey and How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying at the Melodyland Theater, which was right across from Disneyland. Performing on stage helped her gain confidence and opened the door to bigger opportunities. Soon, she started acting. Her first TV role was in the show Good Morning World in 1967, where she played the girlfriend of a radio DJ. The show didn't last long, but it gave Goldie her start as an actress. She played a dumb blonde, a role people would remember her for, but she made it fun and charming. Then came Rowan and Martin's Laugh In,
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me extreme pleasure to undiminished gratification.
a comedy show that made Goldie famous. From 1968 to 1973, she made people laugh with her silly giggles, fun costumes, and playful attitude. She was cheerful and full of energy, and quickly became a fan favorite. People everywhere loved her. Her success on TV helped her move into movies. She first appeared in a small role in the one and only Genuine Original Family Band. But it was her part in Cactus Flower in 1969 that changed everything. She played a young woman dealing with heartbreak, and won an Oscar for it. This was a huge moment in her career. After winning the Academy Award, Goldie became a big movie star. She acted in many popular films like There's a Girl in My Soup, Dollar and Butterflies Are Free. She also took on more serious roles, showing that she could do more than just comedy. In 1974, she starred in The Girl from Petrovka and The Sugarland Express, which was Steven Spielberg's first major film. Goldie had proven she was more than just a funny face. She was a real star. Kurt Russell's difficult upbringing. Kurt Russell was born on March 17, 1951, in Springfield, Massachusetts. His father, Bing Russell, was an actor, and his mother, Louise, was a dancer. Kurt grew up in California with his three sisters after the family moved west. From a young age, he loved baseball, just like his dad, who had played professionally. Kurt played Little League and continued through high school as a second baseman. He graduated from Thousand Oaks High School in 1969 and later served in the California Air National Guard until 1975. Kurt's first experience in front of the camera came early. As a boy, he had a small, uncredited part in the Elvis Presley film It Happened at the World's Fair, where he played a kid who kicked Elvis in the leg. That moment launched a lifetime in the spotlight. Soon after, he began appearing on television, including a guest role on Our Man Higgins. Russell's big break came with The Travels of Jamie McPheeters, a TV series based on a Pulitzer Prize-winning novel. He played the lead role and proved he could carry a show at just 12 years old. More guest spots followed, including appearances on The Fugitive, The Virginian, and Gunsmoke, where he often played adventurous or misunderstood kids. At 13, Kurt even showed up on Gilligan's Island, playing a character known as Jungle Boy. By then, it was clear. This young actor was on a fast track to becoming a major star. Each role built on the last, and with his early start, strong family support, and natural talent, Kurt Russell's path to Hollywood fame was just getting started. In 1966, Kurt Russell's career took a major leap when he signed a 10-year contract with Walt Disney Productions. He quickly became one of the studio's biggest stars of the 1970s. His first movie for Disney was Follow Me Boys, 1966, and Walt Disney himself saw great promise in the young actor. In fact, one of the last things Disney ever wrote before his death was Kurt's name, though misspelt as Kurt on a slip of paper. Just a year later, Russell played a soldier named Willie Prentice in an episode of Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color, which was also released in theaters as Mosby's Marauders. Even while working with Disney, Kurt kept busy with other TV appearances. He popped up in popular shows like Lost in Space and The Road West, showing his range as a young actor who could move between science fiction and westerns with ease. In 1968, during the filming of the Disney musical The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band, Kurt met Goldie Hawn, the woman who would later become his longtime partner. Around this time, his roles in Disney films continued to grow. He starred in The Horse in the Gray Flannel Suit and Guns in the Heather in 1969, both showcasing his charm and on-screen appeal. But it was the computer-wore tennis shoes that really made Kurt a household name. The movie was a hit and marked the beginning of a string of Disney comedies in which he played clever, all-American teen heroes. He followed it up with The Barefoot Executive in 1971, another fun and successful film. By this point, Russell had firmly established himself as a reliable and bankable star for Disney, and his career was only going to grow from there. A Hollywood love story. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell have remained one of the most solid couples in Hollywood since they began their relationship in 1983. Over more than 4 decades, they have shared the screen, built a blended family, welcomed a son together, and become grandparents to 7 grandchildren. Their connection runs deep, but their love story actually started many years earlier. They first met in 1968 while working on Disney's live-action musical The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band. Although there was chemistry, romance didn't blossom right away. Goldie was 21, and Kurt was only 16 at the time. She thought he was adorable, but too young for anything serious, and both of them had made personal vows not to date fellow actors. But life took them in different directions. 17 years later, they crossed paths again when Kurt auditioned for the film Swing Shift. They had a reading together for the film. Kurt, who was dealing with a hangover that day, made a blunt statement about Goldie's figure, a comment that could have gone badly, but instead, it landed well enough to break the ice and start something between them. Not long after, they went out on their first date. The night started with dancing at the Playboy Club in Los Angeles, where they enjoyed themselves, but not wanting the evening to end, they decided to visit a house Goldie had recently started renovating. Because the home wasn't move-in ready, they broke in to check it out. The two ended up in one of the unfinished rooms, where things quickly became intimate, until police arrived, responding to what they assumed was a break-in. Forced to cut the night short, they left the scene and went to a hotel to continue their date in peace. That spontaneous, wild night was the beginning of their relationship. What followed was a bond as they worked together on set and spent more time together off-screen. Goldie found herself drawn to Kurt's looks and how down-to-earth he was. He wasn't trying to impress her or play games. As they spent more time together, it became clear that what they had wasn't temporary. Goldie Hawn, who already had 2 children, Oliver and Kate Hudson, from her previous marriage, realized her relationship with Kurt Russell was getting serious when she saw how good he was with her kids. She noticed how natural and kind he was when they visited her on set, which made her fall even more in love with him. After 3 years together, Goldie and Kurt had their first child, a son named Wyatt Russell. Wyatt joined Goldie's children, Oliver and Kate, and Kurt's son, Boston, from his previous marriage to actress Susan Hubley. The family became close and blended well together. In 1987, Goldie and Kurt starred together in the movie Overboard. Goldie played a rich heiress who loses her memory, and Kurt played a carpenter who convinces her that they're married. The movie became very popular. In 2020, when it aired on TV, Goldie and Kurt watched it together and reminisced about their early days. In 1989, while presenting the Academy Award for Best Directing, Goldie and Kurt had a fun moment that looked like a public proposal.
Yeah, there's only one thing we're not.
What?
Married.
Goldie talked about how they were co-stars, companions, and a couple, but not married. Kurt joked about it, and the audience cheered. Later, Goldie shared this moment on Instagram for Kurt's birthday, showing how much it meant to her. The couple always find ways to support one another. When Goldie's movie The First Wives Club premiered in New York City, Kurt joined her on the red carpet, and they brought their kids, Oliver, Kate, and Wyatt. It was a special family event. By 2003, Goldie was looking forward to becoming a grandmother, though she wasn't rushing it. Her dream came true when Kate, her daughter, became the first of their children to have a baby. Kate and her then-husband, Chris Robinson, welcomed their son, Ryder Russell Robinson, on January 8, 2004. At the time, Kate, who was 24, had shared that one reason she wanted to have children early was so that her kids could spend plenty of time with their grandparents and experience those relationships as much as possible. To celebrate her 71st birthday, Goldie had a glamorous party at the popular Hollywood venue, Catch LA. Russell, always by her side, carried a large present as they walked in together. That day, their daughter Kate shared a beautiful birthday gift that Russell had given Goldie on Instagram. He had built a beautiful new fireplace in their home, and in the stonework, he had added a large heart symbolizing Goldie and 4 smaller hearts for their children. Later that year, Goldie attended the premiere of Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2, where Russell played the father of Chris Pratt's character. Even though she hadn't yet seen the film, Goldie couldn't help but express how proud she was of Russell's performance. In 2017, both Hawn and Russell were honored with their own stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The ceremony turned out to be an emotional moment for Hawn, who didn't expect Russell's heartfelt speech. He expressed his deep affection for her, saying, To you, I owe my wonderful life. Goldie, I cherish you. All the stars in the sky or on the boulevard can't hold a candle to that. There's no one else I'd rather be next to for all of that than you." The couple shared a kiss beside their stars, making it an unforgettable moment. Years later, the couple returned to the big screen together in The Christmas Chronicles as Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Although Hawn's role was brief, it marked a special return to acting alongside Russell. Their son, Oliver, also appeared in the film. The couple reprised their roles in the sequel 2 years later. In 2020, Hawn and Russell opened up about their long-lasting relationship. Hawn emphasized that the key to their bond was a simple yet powerful desire to be together, stating, "You've just got to want to be together. I don't think there's any way other than to do it." Reflecting on her decision not to marry, Hawn explained that for them, it wasn't about the marriage but the strength of the relationship. It's about the people and the relationship and the will to stay together. You've got to give things up, but the joy and the excitement of being together is really a nice feeling. She knew Russell was the one when she saw his passion for family and shared devotion to raising children, which sealed the bond between them. The affairs. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell have been together for over 35 years, but their relationship hasn't always been smooth sailing. In fact, they broke up in 2004 due to infidelity on both sides. There was infidelity on both of their parts. Goldie admits that she and Kurt both went off course. They were both acting out a little and having trouble communicating. So they decided to call an adult time out to get some space and let tempers cool down. Goldie headed to their house in Malibu, while Kurt stayed at their place in Pacific Palisades. It was a rough time for them, but ultimately they were in it for the long haul, and their children were a big part of that decision. They weren't about to tear up their family. Not breaking up is their mantra. A friend of the couple shared that making sure their kids felt safe and secure was always their first priority. They realized they were stronger and better off as a family than not. In the past, both Kurt and Goldie have opened up about the hardships they've endured throughout their decades-long romance. Kurt once said, "We've had ups, downs, sideways, and everything else." Monogamy, he noted, is a tough order. We both have the same opportunities to meet interesting, exciting, and gorgeous people. Goldie also shared that it's tough to stay faithful, especially in the movie industry. "I happen to know what movies are all about. You get close to people," she said. Despite the temptations, Goldie quietly and secretly hopes that Kurt doesn't fall in love with someone else. She realizes, however, that they have so much together that worrying about it only causes unnecessary stress. Despite some tough times, Goldie and Kurt are ultimately very happy together. The source shared that Kurt is the only man who makes Goldie laugh constantly. She always wants to be joyful and to feel happy, and Kurt indulges her in that way. Their dynamic is filled with love and mutual respect, which has helped them weather the stormy patches. So is marriage finally in the future for the pair after 35 years? Goldie admits she and Kurt came close to marrying. A pal revealed, "Goldie, you never know. She could decide one day that she wants to do it and talk Kurt into it." But Kurt, so far, has always said, "If it isn't broken, why fix it?" Hawn's relationship timeline. At 79, Goldie Hawn seems deeply content with Kurt Russell. But before finding the one, she had her share of high-profile relationships. Her first serious one came just before she hit it big in Hollywood, with dancer, actor, and director Gus Triconis. Their relationship marked a significant chapter in her early years before fame truly altered her life. Goldie and Gus began dating in 1966, just a couple of years before Goldie became a household name for her role on the NBC sketch comedy show Rowan and Martin's Laugh In. Interestingly, they shared the same birthday, November 21, which made their bond even more special. At the time, Gus was already established with a noteworthy career. He was known for his role as Indio, one of the sharks, in the 1961 film West Side Story, which was a groundbreaking moment in film history. Additionally, Gus had danced in The Unsinkable Molly Brown, 1964, a film where he performed alongside Debbie Reynolds and Grover Dale. His dancing talents also earned him a spot in Elvis Presley's iconic 1968 comeback special on NBC, a defining moment in television history. Goldie and Gus married in 1969, which was the same year she won her first, and so far only, Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Cactus Flower. The two had a whirlwind romance, but their marriage only lasted 4 years as Goldie's career took off, and Gus attempted to transition into directing. As Goldie's fame grew, so did the complexities of their relationship. In a candid 1976 interview with People, Goldie shared how she felt during that period. "I had drained my bucket. I wanted to go somewhere, like the Indians, and meditate," she explained, reflecting on her need for personal space and solitude. Though they had grown apart, they didn't file for divorce at the time. They simply separated without much fuss, but their relationship had clearly run its course. Goldie explained that they didn't divorce initially because neither of us wanted to remarry, but that changed when she met musician Bill Hudson. Bill, a member of the Hudson brothers, crossed paths with Goldie by chance on a flight in the summer of 1975. And from there, things quickly escalated. They fell head over heels for each other, and marriage soon became part of the conversation. By New Year's Eve 1975, Goldie had made a significant decision. She filed for divorce from Gus the same day she got engaged to Bill. In keeping with California's community property law, Gus demanded $75,000 from Goldie, which hurt her deeply. Goldie admitted in her interview that Gus's demand felt particularly painful because he had never supported her, saying, "He never supported me a day in his life. I don't blame him for being unemployed. Having me for a wife, it was very hard for him to build up confidence." The settlement came, and in July 1976, just a month after her divorce was finalized, Goldie married Bill. The couple went on to have 2 children, Oliver and Kate Hudson, who would grow up to become successful actors in their own right. However, like Goldie's first marriage, this one didn't last either. Bill and Goldie divorced in 1982, a few years before she and Kurt Russell's relationship began while filming Swing Shift in 1984. After his separation from Goldie, Gus focused on building his career as a director, working on several exploitation and action films during the 70s and 80s. He also directed episodes for popular TV shows like Baywatch, Quantum Leap, and Beauty and the Beast. In 1978, Gus found love again, this time with costume designer Barbara Andrews. They married and had a son, Nicholas, in 1981. The couple remained together until Barbara's death in 2012. Meanwhile, Goldie's love life didn't quiet down either. She had brief romances with French actor Yves Renier and Moroccan businessman Victor Dry, though neither of those relationships seemed to be as lasting as the bond she would ultimately form with Kurt Russell. Through all the ups and downs, Goldie's relationships played a role in shaping who she would become. Not just as an actress, but as a person, learning, growing, and evolving along the way. Goldie Hawn's journey to love wasn't easy. She went through heartbreak, made mistakes, and learned from each relationship before finding the right one. As she became a mother, her life grew even more complicated. But the past doesn't just affect the parent. It also leaves a mark on the children. For Oliver Hudson, growing up with famous parents and a broken family brought pain that took years to understand. Oliver Hudson's trauma. In 2024, Oliver Hudson opened up about the challenges he faced during his childhood, particularly feeling unprotected by his famous mother. On a recent episode of his Sibling Revelry podcast, the then 47-year-old actor shared that, although his mother was an amazing mother, there were times when he felt neglected. "My mother was the one that I had almost the most trauma about, interestingly enough, because she was my primary carer, and I was with her all of the time, so I felt unprotected at times," Hudson admitted. Despite Hawn's dedication to her children, Oliver explained how her busy work schedule and personal life, including relationships with boyfriends he didn't like, often left him feeling overlooked. "She would be working. She had new boyfriends that I didn't really like," he said. "This is my own perception as a child who didn't have a dad and needed her to be there. And she just wasn't there sometimes. And she came out far more than even my dad, who wasn't there." Growing up, Oliver and his sister Kate Hudson were primarily raised by their mother after Goldie and Bill divorced in 1982. Oliver acknowledged that the absence of a consistent father figure had a deep impact on him. However, he also recognized that the challenges he faced were rooted in his own perception as a child, and his understanding has evolved over the years. To come to terms with his past trauma, Oliver sought help through the Hoffman process, a week-long retreat designed to help participants identify negative behaviors and thought patterns. This experience gave him a new perspective on his parents' actions. The forgiveness and the compassion that you feel towards them at the end of this process is unbelievable, because then you realize that they're only repeating the ship that they went through, with their parents, Oliver explained. This realization was particularly powerful when it came to his father, Bill. "The forgiveness of my father was huge because his dad left him when he was 5 years old in the middle of the night. Gone," he said. My dad didn't do exactly that, but essentially, he bailed, So I can't always help but think when we're parenting like, what am I imprinting upon my kids? Tut. Oliver, who has 3 children with his wife, Erin Bartlett, reflected on how his own parenting journey is shaped by his experiences. His relationship with his father, Bill, has been strained for years, but there has been a gradual healing process. In 2018, Oliver revealed that he and Bill had begun reconnecting. "Well, we're trying right now," Oliver shared during an interview on Larry King Now. "We've shot some texts back and forth." The process of mending their relationship began after Bill was hurt by an Instagram post Oliver made in 2015, which he had captioned "Happy Abandonment Day" on Father's Day. The post upset Bill, but it led to a meaningful conversation between father and son. He felt hurt by it. "I called him, and we got on the phone and talked. It was really productive," Oliver explained. Their conversation was a turning point, and the two met for breakfast, marking the first time they had seen each other in 12 years. "It was really amazing to see him. We talked it out, and we had a really great 3-hour conversation," Oliver reflected. Despite the years of tension, the reunion and their open dialogue represented a significant step toward healing, both for Oliver and for his relationship with his father. Through this journey, Oliver has gained a deeper understanding of his parents' flaws and the impact of their actions on his own life. His willingness to forgive and reflect on the past has not only improved his relationship with his father, but has also shaped his approach to raising his own children. Oliver's experience shows that healing takes time, patience, and a willingness to face hard truths. His path from feeling hurt to reconnecting with his father is something many families can relate to. The pain of the past doesn't just disappear. It can shape how we see the world and raise our own kids. But with honest talks and forgiveness, that pattern can change. That same kind of honesty and care seems to be what keeps Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's relationship going strong after all these years. The secret to Kurt and Russell's long-lasting relationship. In an interview with E! News, Goldie Hawn shared the secret to a successful relationship with her longtime partner, Kurt Russell. According to Hawn, good sex and being nice to each other upon occasion are key factors in maintaining their bond. You have to have good sex, Hawn, 78, told the outlet in a joint interview with Russell. She explained that sex is not only about the physical connection, but also about creating intimacy and warmth. Sex is something that connects you and creates more belonging. People who have healthy sexual relationships usually last a lot longer. But it's not just because of the act, it's because of the warmth and the intimacy that it creates. Hawn and Russell's journey together began in 1966 when they first met on the set of a Disney movie. However, it wasn't until 1983, when they were cast together in the romantic drama Swing Shift, that they reconnected and began dating. Their relationship blossomed, and they welcomed their son, Wyatt Russell, in 1986. The couple's blended family also includes Boston Russell, whom Kurt had with his ex-wife, Susan Hubley, as well as Oliver Hudson and Kate Hudson, Goldie's children from her previous marriage to Bill Hudson. Reflecting on the years she has spent with Russell, Hawn acknowledged that it's natural for couples to have different perspectives at times. "You know you're not the same person," she said. "You don't think the same way oftentimes. And you have to accept that. But you have to measure, are we having fun? Or is this something we want to do? Do we have laughs together? Do we share certain things? You don't have to share everything." For Hawn, the most important element in a relationship is liking the person you're with. "You have to like the person," she emphasized. Russell echoed this sentiment, adding that shared experiences have played a significant role in strengthening their bond. Most people that have been together for a long time, I think, share one thing in common, and that is that after that many years together, you will have experienced just about everything there is to experience together and understand all the ups and downs and what it means. In terms of intimacy, experts agree that the quality of the connection is more important than frequency. While the average adult has sex about once a week, sex therapists argue that what truly matters is the depth of the connection and the satisfaction both partners feel. Stefani Gorlick, a licensed master social worker and sex therapist, explained that couples often have different expectations when it comes to the frequency of sex. "I've worked with couples who would argue that once a week is too much, and others who would say it's not nearly enough," she said. Each couple determines the right amount of sex for them, and this can change over the course of the relationship. The benefits of a healthy sexual relationship extend beyond the emotional and physical connection between partners. Studies have shown that sex can reduce stress, improve self-confidence, and even boost the immune system, further underscoring its role in the well-being of the couple and their relationship. For Hawn and Russell, their long-lasting relationship is a testament to their shared values of intimacy, understanding, and mutual respect. Their bond is built on a foundation of love, laughter, and, yes, good sex. What do you think about Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's long-lasting relationship? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.